Welcome back to Just You and Me. I'm Donna.
And I'm Adam. Happy New Year, Donna.
Happy New Year. How you
What's going
doing?
on? I'm good. I'm good. New Year starting off. A little rainy in Southern California, which is very obnoxious for New
Depressing.
Year. I know, right? It's very depressing.
I said this earlier. I am fully affected by seasonal depression, I think. Like it really messes with my energy and my vibe. I am much more a sunny girl. I don't need it to be hot. I just need it to be sunny at least.
Could you imagine if you lived in like the Midwest or the East
No.
Coast? You'd be screwed.
I just don't think I could. I mean, I'm sure you can and you just kind of acclimate, but I like being outside. I like sitting outside. I like going on walks. And when it's cold, I find myself, and definitely rainy, I won't even go outside on a walk with my dog. Like I'll
Right.
just put the dog in the backyard. But I noticed that like I am much more lethargic. I am much more lazy. I am much more like sad. Not sad like oh, but just down. Like I just
Right.
don't feel as motivated on the day.
I remember back in my early 20s, I was very close to moving to New York because we had our friend Dave who lived there. And
Mhm.
I really enjoyed visiting him. But I remember him telling me he had this roommate, Andy, who I'm still friends with. But he would say that Andy was probably because he's also from Southern California. He did go East Coast for college, but always could come back for winter break and all that stuff. But then he would go he would be in his apartment when he was living in New York in like January and February. He's like, he was so depressed. He could not remove himself from the couch. And I would imagine, we're different now when we're older. We have families. Like we're kind of forced to do things, even though, a lot of times we don't want to. I would love to just sit on the couch and watch TV. At that point, he has a family now, but Andy before he couldn't move. He didn't have a family. It was his early 20s. He just didn't want to do anything. It was just miserable for 2 straight months. And I'm like, I'm so glad I live in Southern California because even though it's been rainy for a week, I know what's going to happen next week. It's just going to be in the, low 70s and it'll be nice.
Yeah, it would be a really hard thing if I lived in I mean, I work from home, so I don't have to commute really other than and it was break, most of it was break. I mean, break was actually very, very nice, I have to say, because I really did lean into being lazy. Like I really put on my Newman hat.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you've learned something from me
Yeah.
during this year of podcasting with me. It's great.
I lowered my step count. I increased my couch time.
Okay, I'll keep going.
I became like very complainy.
Okay, good.
My stomach hurt every day. Like I really, really was turning into Adam Newman.
Just don't say you increased your calories because then
I'm sure
then
I
I'm gonna
did
feel real.
as well.
I'm sure everybody does though during that time.
Exactly. So, but then, we started the new year and we went right back into the crazy world that we're living in. There's so much going on right now.
Yes, there's a
It's
ton going on.
It's so crazy. I feel like, well, I mean, January 1st already we were seeing our bestie Zoe
Yes,
getting getting into office
sworn
and
in
sworn in on the Quran.
with the Quran, which I had a feeling that's what was going to happen. That does
I
not.
did not
Oh,
think that
really?
that would actually. Well, I just didn't imagine I mean, I guess you just don't think about it. Like I've never
I
thought
guess
about it.
I guess you're right. It wasn't something that like I was thinking about, but then when he did it, I'm like, oh, that makes sense that he would use the Quran because he is Muslim. Like,
Yeah.
makes sense that that's what he would
It
do.
does make sense. It's just wild. It's
Yes.
just the whole thing is just a little bit surreal. But yeah, he got sworn in a subway tunnel.
Yes.
What was that?
He's a man of the people,
Oh,
Donna.
that was intentional to
I
do
don't
that?
know. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Like, who knows? The guy does some weird stuff, and I guess that's maybe what the move was to be a man of the people, talk about public transportation and how you're gonna make it free soon and all that stuff, so you might as well do it down there, I guess.
I don't think he has actually the capability of creating free transportation. I actually think that's like one of those things. Maybe I just read this, but I think that's one of those things that he ran on, campaigned on, and then like actually can't do, you know?
We'll find out because he campaigned on a lot of this socialist type of, these types of ideals like that, and government-run grocery stores and all of these other things that are not things that we usually see. So it'll be very interesting to see how that goes.
There's not one part of me that is interested in going to a government-run grocery store.
No,
What does
absolutely
that
not.
even mean?
I don't know. Like,
Like,
I'm fine with my, run-of-the-mill Ralphs that I go to, and
what? I don't understand the government part. What are they doing for you there?
I guess the idea is to cut out some middlemen and make it cheaper. But from what I've heard is that it's really difficult. Again, this is just from what I've heard from there's been a couple of other cities in the country that have tried this, as well as obviously other countries, but it's really difficult because the government does not do things well. We all know this. We always use the DMV as like kind of as an example of how poor the government's run. Everything's very slow. So the idea is that, or the thought is that, yeah, prices will be lower because there's a lot of middlemen that are being cut out, and they're the ones that are sourcing everything. But also the issue is that it's a lot of times what happens is none of the shelves are actually stocked. Like everything is runs out, and it takes way too long to restock them because they aren't doing things properly. Everything is just empty. So going to one of these stores, it's going to be very difficult to find what you're looking for because from the past and from past examples, it has not worked well.
Let's see if it even happens.
Well, that's what we're saying, right? Like he talked a lot, and let's see if he actually does.
Follows through.
Listen, if he does a government run grocery store, I will 100% walk into one because I'd be very curious on my next trip to New York to see what a government Ralph's looks like. I'd be very interested.
You know, they say don't trust the government and then they want to buy food from it. It's just the whole thing seems a little odd. Will they have like a salad bar
I
at the
don't think.
market? Can the government fund a salad bar?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't think
Can
it's
you
gonna
get
be.
Nutella?
I don't think it's gonna be Erewhon. I
Can
don't
we
think it's gonna be a Whole
get
Foods.
I would like to know if I can get my favorite peanut butters.
Well, what
Or
do
is
you
it
think?
just going to be like Jif,
What would they call it? What would
the
a
government run?
government-run supermarket be called?
Zomarket.
Zomarket? Zomarket.
Yeah.
I like it.
Like
Mom
Zoran, Mom Market.
Mom
Zoran Market. Mom
Market.
Darket.
Zoma Market.
Zoma Market.
He's gonna
Shalom.
he's gonna name
And
it after
it's
himself.
only Israeli food.
It's only Israeli food. I don't think that's what he's gonna.
Mashlomech.
Can you
Shalom.
imagine if he just, messed with everybody and just put Israeli food in?
Well, you know what is crazy is the guy is going all in on talk about how much he supports the Jews and how much he cares about the Jews. And like, I don't know if I even talked to you about Mandy Patinkin and that disgusting Hanukkah dinner, but he's like very big on talking about how he supports Jews and how he cares about them. But then he did some things in his first week,
Yeah.
which were the opposite of that. And they were like behind the scenes, like no one really saw.
What, in terms of kind of lifting a lot of the different rules and laws that were put into
Immediate,
place?
like first day. Like these are not things that had to come down the line. On his first day in office, one of his major goals was removing any protections for anti-Semitism.
Right. So now anybody can go in front of a synagogue and protest without any repercussions, which is great because that there's nothing anti-Semitic about going to a synagogue and protesting.
No, that's just anti-Zionist.
No, right, exactly. Like, these Jews that are not in Israel and they're in, New York City in Manhattan. But it
I
doesn't make
know.
any sense. Like they continuously talk out of their asses about how it's not anti-Semitic. But then all of a sudden you lift all of these different things, and I'm talking about how anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitic, it's bullshit. Then he lifts, words and terminology like that, he lifts that away from it as well. So he is it's what's so not shocking and shocking at the same time is that, like you said, it was the first thing he did.
Hmm.
Like, nothing else was that important. That's what he had to do, was
And
to
there's a lot of things that like presidents and I guess mayors and governors, whatever, when they first get sworn into office, like there's a lot of things that they immediately go. They're executive orders. Like I remember just this year with Trump when he
yeah,
got signed in, like the first day, there was like 10 big things that he did. And usually you would consider that being like a high on their agenda motivation. Like that's not something that they're just kind of like, oh, by the way, this is like the goal, right? I'm coming into office and I want to do this.
right.
I'm
It,
hearing you.
and there is absolutely, like, when it comes to those types of things, it's usually something that is really important to, like, when Trump did it, stuff that's really important to the country, that he believes is really important to the country. But apparently Zoran thinks that this is so important to New York that he had to get it done the first day. Like, it was such an important thing.
Yeah. And most people truly would never know, wouldn't see it. The only people reporting on it are the New York Post and Jews. Like
Right.
it is so isolated of an issue for the mass majority of people that aren't paying attention to this, which by the way, like I try really hard to not blame people. Obviously there's people out there that like specifically hate the Jews and they want everything bad for them, but the majority of people I would imagine are just living their lives. They're just not paying attention to like what's new in the Jew news today. Like they're just
Right.
not really, we're not on the same algorithms. Like they're not following the same people that we follow. So they're not seeing, the little, because I'm sure he did a lot of other things in those first few days of
You may
office
have,
that
yeah.
we have no idea about.
No, because we don't live in New York, so it's not like
And it's not on our radar. We're not
no.
following people that are talking about that. I think right now, the Jewish community is the ones that are anti Zoran, whatever. They are probably like watching him with a magnifying glass and will report on any possible thing that he does that is not up to snuff. I follow a lot of people that are just talking about every little move that he
Right.
makes. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like people that hate Trump,
Hmm.
like that just only want to see negative. I'm not saying that he's a good guy. I'm just saying right now everyone's going to be looking at him with a fine-tooth comb in that category, trying to kind of, but that being said, it was such a sticking point for his campaign about like his feelings about anti-Semitism, his feelings about Israel, the Jews. I mean, he made it such a big part of his campaign talking about
Right.
Netanyahu and so, it's almost like he brought this on himself.
Which is still ridiculous. Again, what does New York City really have to do with Israel and the way to run your city? Um, but when you say, yeah, there are organizations of people that are making it a sticking point to kind of figure out every little thing he does. But that's what an organization like the ADL does. Like, that's what they do all the time. It's not just monitoring things that are happening to Mondani. It's monitoring things that happen to any other politician who makes any type of ridiculous remark or does anything that is anti-Semitic or anti-Zionist. So of course, that's what the ADL is going to do. And what happens is that the ADL will find something, and then whoever, they'll probably they'll probably have a press release or something. And then, like you said, the New York Post or some other the content creators that we follow will pick up on it, and then it lands in our algorithm. So we find this stuff out very, very quickly, whether it's stop antisemitism.com or if it's any of the other people that are in our algorithm. It's constantly going to be like that, and it's going to continue. Like, I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what the percentage was, but like the ADL found out that, like, I don't know, it was like 30 or maybe even 60. I don't remember the percentage. I don't want to misspeak, but it was a ridiculous percentage of the people working in his administration and Mondani's administration have said some kind of like, anti-Semitic type comments in the past. They found either on Twitter or on other social media platforms or anything else. They found, like, it's a ridiculous amount of people that he has on his team that have it out or had it out and then are kind of masking it now for Jews. And it's very bizarre that again the second largest population is being run by somebody who thinks his administration needs to be filled with people like that.
Yeah, and you can say the same thing for probably a lot of other administrations because I think that there's so many people that have bad history of saying bad things, you know, down the line and on every side. I think that he probably should have steered real clear of doing anything to kind of like stoke the fire, but I also don't think he cares.
No, he definitely doesn't care. I mean, he
He
already won
doesn't
the
care.
election. He's done. He's not, and we're just gonna have to see what happens, what goes on from now.
So the guy is the mayor of New York City, and he thinks he is like a president in running. And did you see how ridiculous it was after Maduro was captured?
And
His press, whatever it's called. What is it called?
press secretary,
No, like his
press
conversation when he was standing in front of a microphone in front of a bunch of press. What is that
press
called?
conference.
Press conference. I'm like, press release, his press conference talking about his feelings on it and how he was briefed about this. And then he let the president know how he feels. He called the president and he let the president know how much he disagrees with, God forbid, you know, why would you ever take a disgusting, horrible, horrendous, you know, criminal dictator? Why would you do? I let the president know my feelings. The president's like, stop calling me. Like, what? Like, is Karen Bass also calling Donald Trump with her feelings? Like, it's so stupid. This guy all of a sudden thinks that he is like a huge, huge person in the political arena. And it's partially because the press and what the press has done for his ego over the last year, 6 months. Like, we literally were talking about this random mayor more
Yeah,
than we were talking about some really high in politics people.
yeah, and it is interesting because you're right. Like, how many mayors across the entire country have like a direct line? Like,
It doesn't.
Does the mayor of Spokane, Washington, talk to the president and
I
give
just
the
keep thinking of
views?
Karen Bass. Like, I just kind of keep
But like,
imagining. Even
but
Los
even
Angeles, a huge city, she's not calling President Trump about Maduro.
no, and even like and Mondami is even further left than Karen Bass. So like to even have like that kind of connection, it's very bizarre, and I don't understand that kind of dynamic. But you're right, it's probably because the press and just how big of a name he has become that he kind of feels that he has the, I guess, authority to give his opinion on this kind of stuff. And I will never understand why somebody like this, who is the mayor of New York, needs to really have that much skin in the game about what happened in Venezuela. He is not a federal lawmaker. He is he's a city lawmaker. And yes, you can have your feelings about it and you can probably mention it here and there, but to like make it so big, it's the same thing with Israel. Like he had so much to talk about with Israel, but again, what does New York City really have to do with Israel?
Nothing.
Nothing. You can have your opinions, but like, why does that become such a big part of your platform? And don't
I
give me
think it's
this bullshit. Don't give me this
because
bullshit that people are asking him all these questions because of his past. He wanted this. He wanted to make it so big because he is so anti-Israel that he wanted it to be part of it. And that's why
he
he
spoke
continues to
out
do it.
constantly
Yes.
with his feelings. He spoke strongly against Netanyahu the entire time. He constantly called it a genocide. He constantly called it, you know, apartheid and like all these horrendous things that don't really mean anything. And he truly put out the narrative out there with the globalized intifada. Like those things that he did, it's almost like he set that in stone even before he joined the race. And then when he joined the race, people were, you know, seeing all this footage of him screaming at these
Yeah.
pro-Palestine protests and yelling about Israel. And I mean, this was an obsession of his. It was an obsession of so many people for 2 years that it's almost like insane. I feel like now that we're slowly dipping out of it, the pro Palestine stuff, and turning into like, Venezuela conversations and like all kinds of other world news, because hopefully Israel just stays out of the public arena for just a second. That would be my hope. Although I feel like it's like Zoran, like there's like a spotlight on Israel. Like everything Israel does is reported right now. It's like so crazy. It's such a like a press,
Right.
like the press, like New York Times is like just seeking drama from Israel on any given day. But I think that as we start to kind of move away from 2024 and 5, and we'll start to slowly in the next couple of years like look back at the time when there were all these pro-Palestine supporters like parading down the street. They'll still be there. They'll just be paid to protest for something else. And I mean, I'm convinced 90% of those protests are started by, paid protests. But I think that it will become such like a boring conversation to talk about Israel and, calling it a terrorist state or a genocidal state. Like it's going to slowly dissipate is what my guess is. Hannah Einbinder over the weekend went to the Critics' Choice Awards.
Yeah.
Stuck in a year ago because she's wearing a Louis Vuitton dress with a freaking red Artist for Ceasefire pin, which is the red hands. And it's like almost embarrassing that we have a ceasefire, the war is over, and you are seriously going to your award show, Critics' Choice Awards, that only airs on E! With
I didn't even know it aired anywhere.
I watched it with a freaking Artist for Ceasefire pin. Just like, why? There's so many other things that are more relevant today.
Right.
You can't let it go.
There wouldn't have been something about Venezuela that she wanted to talk about in the last
Artist for Venezuela.
But but why talk about anything? Like, why do we have to continue to do this bullshit? Like, why do you have to be this person who shows up on a red carpet just to flash that stupid pin and just to show it off to everybody?
Well, it's virtue signaling.
Of course it is.
That's all it is for all of these freaking people. It's a big signaling of virtue. And that's truly all it is. It's like, I am better than you. I care about people you don't. I can't really truly be present in my, night where I'm getting nominated for awards because in my Louis Vuitton dress, because I'm thinking about all those starving people and all those people that are suffering, which by the way, there's no starving in Gaza right now.
No.
There was like
Absolutely
a short period for a little bit, months and months and months ago, where there was a little bit of a blockage of the aid, and that's it. And it turned into years. People are still saying they're starving in Gaza. I mean, the only people that are starving in Gaza are those that are choosing to lose weight and are hungry.
They're on Ozempic and other.
No, then you're not starving. It's the people that are not on Ozempic but are trying to cut some cows.
By the way, speaking of not the cut cows thing, but like
Ozempic?
No. It's I know we're on different stupid weird feeds, but even on Threads now, like it's so ridiculous. The amount of times I see like pictures of which some of them are so easily spotted AI, where it's like it's a family who's just facing the camera and like holding an empty plate, and there's all these people that are like commenting. It's like, oh my God, I feel for you in Palestine and this and that. I'm like, are you this dumb? Or they're in floods. And I'm like, I'm looking up. You can look up on Apple. You can look on your iPhone and just type in Gaza. And it's like, it's like 63 degrees. And they were showing like, there's other AI pictures of it like snowing there and people being freezing. And people like, you would hope, you would just pray that you'd be able to spot it. To just say, hey, give me 1 second. Let me check to see what the weather is right now in Gaza. And again, it's 63 and partly cloudy, right? and they
But
think it's
common sense
showing.
is not like when you want to believe something
I know.
and you're so in something, you don't think common sense. You think you just believe what, like, it's confirmation bias, right? So you're seeing, you know, that in your head, they're struggling in Gaza, they're suffering, they're starving, they're flooding, they're da, da, da. And then you see a picture and you're like, see? It reminds me of like when Andy Cohen from Bravo posted on his X or Threads or I don't know what. I think X because there was like community notes, and I don't know if you can do that on Threads. But there was he posted a video of when ICE was in like the area or whatever, and it was of the NYPD arresting ICE and
No.
throwing ICE into jail. And he was like, yeah, fight back, NYPD. This is how it's done. And literally, there's like community notes everywhere. And they're like, look at the guy's hand. He has 7
Yes.
fingers. It's total AI slop. Like, what are you doing? And he was like so sure that it was real. He didn't even question that it could have
Yeah.
been fake because in his mind, this is like a dream scenario, right? So I think so many people are just, they lack discernment when it comes to these images and these videos. These images and videos that are AI will 100% wreck the world in terms of their thinking. You can create anything and everything. I've seen so many videos and photos, even just over the holidays, of like celebrities interacting, and it's
Yeah.
all fake, but it's like real celebrities. They look like, you know, the real Scarlett Johansson and the real Tom Cruise hugging. I don't get it.
It's getting better and better, this technology.
It's
And
impossible to determine which is real and which is fake half the time.
I remember I was going to bring this up on one of our shows a couple weeks ago, but we always seem to run out of time. But yeah, that is a huge threat for this. Like when they launched, what was it, like Sora 2 or whatever the hell it was, right?
The videos
And what was that?
where you can like create those videos.
Right, exactly. And they looked so very real. And yes, there's obviously there's things that you can point out, you can find that are wrong with them. Or if you're just really trained to look at it a certain way, you can figure out what's wrong with them. But for the most part is that, like, even like you said, when you see something that is just kind of triggers in your brain and confirms what you've already been thinking, you're not going to get a closer look at it. You're basically going to say, hey, I see this, it's confirming I need to share this and show my support and virtue signal that I'm with this, whatever cause it is, but of course, what we're talking about. But it is scary because it's only going to make this conversation about defending Israel tougher, because there's going to continue to be these types of videos and pictures that are fully fake being put out.
I would love if there was like some sort of thing that you could do on social media where every AI video immediately gets a watermark.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
It should be a law. Because I mean, AI, it's one thing if you want to use it maybe in your own, for your own use, you know, just for friends or whatever. But I think, or like even on your own website if you want. But if you are posting it in the hopes of getting it to go viral or shared, I think there should be a law in place where it automatically, like the computer knows or the software knows what is AI. I don't know how that works, but like immediately gets branded AI.
Right.
And even so, there's going to be people in their 70s and up or whatever that are still going to see it with AI on it, and they're going to believe the truth because it's a video. I mean, this is like my mom would not understand how AI could create a video of her talking, you know, where she's not there. Like she would be
Right.
like, no, that has to be me. It's me talking. You know, Grok is so crazy now, and it has this Grok Imagine, where you can put in just a static photo
I know.
of you and it will turn it into a full video. And like I did it the other day with my with a video of my friends. I'm sorry, a photo of my girlfriends. So like this is the video. I mean, this is the picture, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just a static picture. It's not even live. And then I just wanted to like see what it did, and this is what it did. We're dancing. There's music on it in the background. There's people walking in the background. Like it's crazy.
I know.
And it
It's
looks
so weird.
good. Like
I
not
know.
only, I mean, we don't look 100% real if you zoom in. Like we don't look like ourselves 100%, but we look hot. Like I was like, this would be so much better if I was dating right now and
I
on
know
a dating profile.
you don't want to do that. You wouldn't want to do that. You want to fake out who you're going to meet.
I know, but I feel like
Rude.
honestly, it's crazy. Like it's dangerous and crazy. Um, but anyway, so yeah, AI is dangerous. But I just it's I don't know how you limit that. I don't know where it goes. But AI is also so great. Like I use
Um,
it so much.
I do too. And I know you use it a lot for probably for your work, right? For all the stuff that you do, right?
I'm
Would you?
constantly using ChatGPT, but like I'm using it obviously to, help me with like titles and like whatever. But I really actually use ChatGPT lately in the last weeks as like getting true answers. For
Yeah.
example, my dog was going through like some struggles, and I literally asked on ChatGPT, and they walk you through what you should do. Maybe this actually means you should call your vet or try this. It's crazy. You don't need
Google.
like
You don't need Google anymore. I don't Google anything anymore. I don't. I seriously don't.
I actually don't. Now that I think about it, I maybe will Google to find out someone's age or something, but like
Or to
not
find like a
really.
phone number, like or like if I'm looking for
Yeah,
a
phone
doctor's
number.
information or like that, that's when I use it for. But if I'm like booking vacations, you can figure out flights much better using ChatGPT than it
They
is
can
to
book
just
you an entire, or they can give you
they
an
do
entire
everything.
5-day itinerary for a trip
Yes. I
based on
actually
exactly who you're with and how much you want to spend.
yesterday I was and we can get into this because I wanted to figure out right now I don't subscribe to Sirius. I used to for
Oh
Howard
yeah.
Stern, and I don't listen to Howard Stern so much anymore, but I wanted to, and I'll get into why I wanted to. But I asked ChatGPT, I'm like, what is the cheapest subscription and what do I get out of it? And can you find me like a promotional deal for it? So it found me a very good promotional deal to pay like $4 a month for a year
That's crazy.
instead of $19 a month. And I'm like, perfect. And like, that's how I found it. But the reason I was looking for it, we can get into this because I thought it was funny, is that, uh, I was on Reddit as I like to, I like to
You
hurt
do.
I like to hurt myself every day by going onto Reddit and reading terrible things about Jews. But I was on the Howard Stern sub because I enjoy that sub. It's ridiculous. And somebody
Do
started
they
going,
like him there or they hate him?
what, Jews?
No, do the Reddit does the Reddit Howard Stern sub tend to like support him or snark on him all day?
Now it's like 75% snark and
Yeah.
25% like. Um, I mean, 10 years ago was different, but now it's like completely ridiculous ever since COVID. Um, so somebody like said some kind of weird thing about Miss Rachel. I'm like, oh great, now I gotta go to a sub on Reddit about Howard Stern and read about Miss Rachel. So I asked what happened. They said, oh, he was talking about Miss Rachel on yesterday's show, yesterday being Monday, and basically, saying that he didn't agree with, any of the type like her being political or anything. So that's when I asked, I'm like, since I don't subscribe to Sirius anymore, I'm like, how do I get on there? Can I get old episodes, like episodes from today, on demand stuff? So
Yeah.
anyway, so I listened to it yesterday. I listened to the clip. It's about, he goes over basically he's talking about his grandchild. So now he's that old at this point where he has grandchildren. He was with over the vacation. He was with one of his daughters, and the daughter has a son that's like 1.5 or 2 years old. And they went out to dinner, and the child's getting fussy. So the only thing that calms this little boy down is Miss Rachel. The only thing you can put on that anything else, any Disney thing, any other toddler show, and it's just not going to do the trick. But Miss Rachel does it perfectly, and she has whatever it is, she's just very, very good at it. And what Howard was saying in his, comical way and whatnot was basically talking about how, now this is Mr. Rogers of this generation. Like we grew up in Mr. Rogers, and it's that type of that feel to it. Like when we, he was very calming. You learned a lot of different things. It was very interesting. But what he had heard was that yes, now Miss Rachel is getting into getting into, talking about Gaza and talking about that.
Getting into.
Well, you know what I mean, like, has gotten
She's
into it
in.
since the war had started.
Okay.
Um, and basically he's like, he wasn't saying necessarily that the cause of being against or being for Gaza and no other children is a bad thing. What he was saying was that don't be for anything. It's like Mr. Rogers never went on or said anything or got interviewed about a cause that was happening in the 80s. He's like, this is why I love Ryan Seacrest. You don't know what the fuck Ryan Seacrest stands for. You
That's
have
actually
no
so
idea.
true.
It's like, you have no idea. He goes out there, he does his thing, he has his radio shows, he does, whatever he does on TV, and then he'll post something here and there, but it's never political. It is just Ryan Seacrest being Ryan Seacrest. And he
That's so
rakes
true.
in millions and millions of dollars. And Howard's like, if you want to be a child, a child entertainer, don't talk about this at all. Because you could have had the entire scope of people buying your products, not talking shit about you, doing all of this, but now you have alienated a section of people that don't want anything to do with you. Yes, she'll still be successful. She'll still have whatever she needs to have, but she is alienating an entire group of people because she has a political stance on something that is really, really wrong. He, of course, still believes that, he's always been pro Israel. He's always had that stance. And because I think Howard doesn't talk so much about it anymore. Again, I haven't listened so much, but I do frequent that Reddit sub, but he doesn't talk a ton about Israel right now, but he was still kind of hinting a little bit yesterday about, let's drop this. Let's stop talking about the Jews. Let's stop talking about Israel, because it's only going to create more of a divide. It's only going to do something it's not going to create anything that are going to make everybody happy. Just drop it and just entertain your fucking children. That's it. Don't talk about anything else. So I found it interesting because and then they had it was funny because he had, there's always people in Howard's, radio show, and they're all coming on. Now, a lot of them have kids and whatnot. And I mean, you listen, it's Hollywood. They're all Jewish, right? Everybody who works for him, they're Jewish writers. And they're like, yeah, we have this really terrible, we feel really bad because we let our kids watch Miss Rachel when we know we shouldn't because of what's going on. But it's the only way it calms our fucking children down. So it's interesting to just see
Yeah.
how
I
even he's saying shit about it.
But the thing is that, part of me thinks that this came from a place of pressure at first from her audience. Like, that's the thing that he's not picking up in this, is that people became insane about pressuring their favorite celebrities and their stars and whatever to say something about Palestine. It became like a bullying situation at the beginning after a few
Right.
months into the war. And I know that there's this like really, really popular influencer on TikTok. Her name is Elise Myers. She's all over the place. She's on YouTube. She actually just wrote a book. She's now she does so much more. But she had like over 5 million followers on TikTok. She's just a sweet mom that talks about like being anxious and ADHD, and she writes, and you like so normal.
Right.
Nothing glam, nothing fancy, just a mom. And she actually disabled her TikTok for months because of the incessant say something about Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. Why aren't you saying it, for months? That she literally said, I can't take it. And it sent her in to a horrible depression because this was her business. She makes a lot of money off TikTok. And she felt like every day just showing up and not saying anything was them thinking, you're a horrible person.
Right.
You're a horrible human. You don't stand up for human rights. The bullying that the audience has done in this category about this case has never been seen before, I don't think, on like a social media angle, because this is like the height of social media. Everyone's online. No one feels bad about saying anything in comments, and people expect everyone to have an opinion. So I don't know if Miss Rachel started talking about it because of being bullied, but regardless, she did talk about it, and she talked about it so strongly in one way. And then when she brought on the Hamas guy, like onto her show, it then turned into, okay, who is she working with behind the scenes that are feeding her this kind of information and this kind of content? Like there's people like her. We've talked about Tucker Carlson. We've talked about, Candace Owens. I think Megyn Kelly is going down this route too now, where it almost feels like, Theo Vaughn, Dave Smith. It's these people that are so confidently anti. You have to think there's got to be something in it for them. Maybe it's just more love because it's the more popular place to be right now online.
It could be. I mean, the one thing about Miss Rachel, though, it's
Mm-hmm.
not. It's one thing to be pressured to say something, right? Or you're.
Just keep talking.
Oh, sorry.
It's killing my OCD.
I could see.
I know I have to
The one
fix it.
below it's a little weird.
I can't tell which one it is. Okay, keep going.
It's one thing for Miss Rachel to make a comment about the war and maybe something, back 2 years ago, a year ago, say something. But she has made it her entire online personality. That's where it becomes different, where it's almost every post
Mm-hmm.
or a vast majority of posts are about Palestine and Israel.
Or Jews or Israel or anti-Semitism or how dare you think that I'm this way or I care about the safety of it's like it's becoming, it's almost like very similar actually to Mamdani in that way. Like you can't talk about it all the time and then be shocked that people are focusing in on it when they talk about you.
Because she continues to be very defensive about people that are calling her anti-Semitic, and she doesn't understand.
She's the victim.
Yeah, of course, and it's about her. It continuously is about her. She says it's about the kids in Gaza, but it all comes down to whatever's making her feel better, and as you said, virtue signaling. So
Mhm.
now she always plays the victim about, okay, now people are calling me anti-Semitic. I don't know why I'm anti-Semitic when all I do is care about children. I'm like, it's not. People have explained it, and I know people must have told her to her face. I know obviously people say it in comments constantly. If she doesn't get it at this point, then she'll never get it. It's not something that anything is ever going to change her mind.
Yeah, it's ingrained in her. She's now part of the transition team for Mamdani. This is like her world. This is literally what she's doing. And you know what? I'm so glad I don't have young kids
I know.
that have to that ask to turn it on because she just bugs me.
Yeah. I mean, but like, listen, that's the thing. It's like, if you had a young kid and it was the only thing that made your child, like stop crying or like, soothe the kid, it's hard to kind of say no to that because you know how you get with a kid who is wailing and wailing and wailing. You can't figure out what to do.
Yeah, you kind of have to just separate it, I guess, in that moment,
Yeah.
as long as she's not talking about it on the show.
No.
And
Yeah.
yeah, if she's just still focusing on like the ABCs, then it's like, okay, whatever. Or maybe I would put on old episodes, like before October 7th. So, it's so interesting though, because you say threads and I really spend most of my, like if I'm on, X or Threads, I would choose X, even though X right now is like, it's so, the algorithm on X is crazy good. So, like, if you watch one video about something, all of a sudden your entire feed is like really focused on that. So, for example, a few weeks ago, everything I saw was Candace Owens related and Tucker Carlson. It was like over the top and depressing and annoying and like rage baity.
Yeah.
And then, like, 2 weeks ago was all about Minnesota and fraud and fraud and fraud and fraud and fraud, which that's a crazy story also. But now I find I'm trying really hard to like have a little bit more of a balanced place over on X because I'll really like puppy videos every once in a while. I try to like switch it up because I don't want it to be a place that just only angers me. However, the reason why I bring this up is because Threads to me, and this is maybe just my experience, Threads to me is incredibly liberal, like top to
Yeah.
bottom. Of course, once in a while, you'll see someone that it seems to be a little bit more conservative or even, Republican. I'll never see someone that is incredibly conservative on there. I never see any differential. I just see a lot of the same of this like same kind of very, very highly liberal communication and conversation. And it's a lot of it is anti-Israel. A lot of it is, anti-Trump. Most of it is anti-Trump. A lot of it is just has that energy, which also annoys me. Like I like both. I want to see
Right.
both. And I find I can get more of that on X myself.
Okay.
But I posted on X the other day and I said, as a former hardcore liberal, this was after Venezuela. Okay. Venezuela on Saturday. I think that was Saturday. I don't even know what day that was.
No. Well, we're in this weird time between Christmas
It
and when your
was,
kids
it,
go back
it
to
felt like
school.
a weekend.
Who knows?
I woke up that day. I saw the news. I don't know a lot about the story, to be honest. I don't know a lot about the Venezuela relationship with the United States. I don't know a lot about Maduro. This is just not my forte. But I started to read, I started to look, and I started to see. And I started to realize there is clearly a very strong difference between one side and the other in terms of their approach to just the Venezuela story. And I sent it to you. There's this one Persian Jewish woman, Erica Laban, and then also separately, our friend from when we went to Israel, Sarah Tuttle Singer.
Mm-hmm.
And these are two people who wrote tweets or wrote posts about where the left is. When I say the left, I mean just the liberals in general right now. And of course, there's going to be a spectrum, just like for sure there are on the right, are just so not what they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And most people that I know are inching out of the liberal corner more and more every single day, unless they are just hardcore anti-Trumpers and they
Right.
can't even imagine opening up to it. But if they have a little bit of leeway in that arena, most people I know do not connect with the left.
Yeah. And we've talked about this too, where, you and I used to have TDS. Like I used to, everything that Trump did was awful and this and that. And then, once everything, not just October 7th, but when he was inaugurated at the beginning of last year, um, I told myself, I'm like, I'm just going to stop caring. Like, I'm just going to not care anymore. I am not going to try to bury myself in all of these headlines and make myself crazy about everything. And then what that started to do, I thought was very therapeutic for me, it started to kind of open my brain up to a little bit more of like, okay, I don't have to like Trump to basically say I disagree with everything that he has to say or do. Obviously, he has been very good for the Jews and been very good for Israel. And he has done things here and there where it's like, okay, I can see myself being excited for something that he has done rather than needing to say it's bullshit, bullshit, bullshit for whatever he's done. And it's interesting because like even when this fraud stuff happened in Minnesota, it's like because the this guy, I forgot what his name was,
Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley, who went out and did made his video and uncovered this alleged fraud. Why can't the Democrats just be open to an investigation and hearing about it? They have to defend it, like tooth and nail. They have to defend
Not just defend it,
everything.
deny it, and then attack the guy that exposed the fraud.
So that's what's so annoying to me, because it's aligned with a Republican thought, and because it's a Republican who made the video, a Republican news network that picked it up and is running with it. Now you can't sit back and say, hey, it does seem a little fishy. Let's see what the investigation does. Let's see if there's something that's going on with it. I don't know everything that happened in Minnesota, but I'm not
Yeah,
going to
like all of
sit
a
there.
sudden, these people find themselves just completely taking the side of these other people that they have no interest in, no care in, but just because it's not the Republican kid that is
Right.
exposing it.
So I can't just sit there and say, just deny it because I don't like Trump, or even it would go like the other side if it was, a Democrat who had a story that was similar and did it. Like, I couldn't just say, oh my God, I have to agree with it because it's a Democrat and it's not Trump saying it. You got to give some kind of leeway and let things kind of unfold before you really start making these determinations and decisions.
I remember when the young Republican group chat got
Yeah.
exposed, how they were all calling each other, like calling bad names and calling, anti-Semitic and racist and whatever. There was not one part of me that was like, oh, but they're just kids.
Right.
Oh, leave them up. I could not care if they voted for Trump, Biden, or an alien. It's wrong behavior.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I'm perfect in this way, but I really check myself all the time. And I think it's easier for me because I don't feel like a hard connection to either side. I'm kind of definitely moderate, more leaning right, if anything, these last couple of years since October 7th, because I just feel like they accept Jews to me more than in Israel than the left. That's just personally my take, and that was my like sticking point. But it's also opened me up to so many other things. For example, the people on the left, not everyone, but the hardcore like won't talk to you unless you are a hardcore liberal type of person, because if you're not with them, then you're definitely a fascist, racist, homophobic person in their brains. Those people have this virtue signaling energy that I find constantly. There's a girl that I follow. She's actually a reporter for the Free Press. Her name is Lucy Biggers or something along those lines. I don't know if you
Terrible
know who
name.
she is. What?
Terrible,
I
terrible
don't
name.
know if that's her last name. Lucy
Lucy
something. Something with
Biggers?
a B. Something with a B.
Biggers?
I'll send her to you. She is really interesting to me because she's young, but she
Okay.
speaks that she started on that super, super progressive liberal side. And she has pictures of her with AOC, like meeting her on the best day of her life energy. And she was a hardcore climate activist. Like Greta Thunberg was someone that she looked up to. She used to protest all the plastic straws. Like, this is the kind of person she was. So it wasn't even that long ago, but in the last few years, she's shifted, and now she can look at that side and be like, "What was I doing?"
Right.
And she says it really clearly. She says, "When you were on that side, the anti-Trump, super super progressive liberal side, you are taught to believe that you are a better human being than anyone that's not. You care more."
Yeah.
You are more humanitarian. You actually like love and accept and you tolerate. And everyone that isn't there, they are not that way. They are haters. They are,
Fascist.
disgusting. They're criminals. They're racist. They're all these horrible things. Like, they equate anyone that's not with them as the worst of the worst, where I don't. I think people that are on the liberal side are phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Some are.
Little nutty.
But that's on both sides, because look
Of
at
course.
Tucker Carlson. Like, you've
Yeah.
got both on both sides. But I think the majority of people, Sarah's Facebook post. So Sarah, we went to Israel with Sarah when we were 16, and she ended up moving to Israel as an adult and now has a family there. I think she's divorced. I don't know,
Is
actually,
she?
the story.
All
I don't
right.
actually know. But she's a mom and writes for a lot of those Jewish publications.
Yeah,
Like
Jerusalem Post, I think, is one of her biggest ones that she writes for.
Jerusalem Post. Okay. And so I sent you a post of hers, and it's beautifully written. She's very well good with words. She knows how to write. But she wrote a post about how she didn't leave the left, but the left left her.
Right.
And she struggles with it because in her heart she's still like a liberal. She's still a leftist person, but she doesn't connect with anyone because she gets vilified so much from that side for just being a pro-Israel Jew. And that to me, I find very relatable.
I think there's a lot of people that she speaks for. A lot of people out there that have this issue, and um, it's one thing to, well, she has she has a voice, and she's able to kind of put it on paper and let people know that she has this kind of, that she feels this way. But I know for a fact there are a lot of people in my life, um, and I'm sure people that have not spoken to me about this, but and then a lot of people who are Jewish that feel exactly the same way. That are like, I'm so confused right now on what to think, because yes, I'm always going to be pro-Israel. I'm always going to be a Zionist. But from a political standpoint, I don't know where I stand, because my entire life I thought this was the right way of being, and this was the way I needed to be. And then all of a sudden, October 7th happens and things got flipped. And now Jews are finding themselves, very out of place in politics, unless you're, you know, Hannah Einbinder, of course. But they're not understanding, and like, I struggle with it. Yes, I will be completely open to more, more of the thoughts of the right, and figuring out, all of these different things that I didn't necessarily maybe not believe in before, because I've been keeping a lot more of an open mind. But still, a part of me is like, I like the you struggle internally. It's like you've been kind of programmed to think a certain way, and to think on one side instead of the other side. So then when something really happens that changes you, it's hard for you to go and think a different way. It's very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. And I was talking to someone, a mutual friend of ours, actually, that I'm not going to name here, but she is a very, very pro Trump Jew. And she was saying, like, it's just so shocking to her how many Jews can't at least see that he's good for the Jews. Like, that's the bare minimum that they can try to see. And some of them say, well, he got the hostages, but that's it. Like they'll stop themselves before ever
Right.
recognizing anything else, and they'll focus on the fact that he had Nick Fuentes over at Mar-a-Lago for dinner a few years ago, which, by the way, horrible choice. And Kanye, horrible choices. That's what I'm saying. Like, Donald Trump has fucking shit the bed in so many different ways, and he continues to tweet out of control things, and he continues to say things. But ultimately, who has our back in the political region definitely wouldn't have been Kamala.
Yeah, very
'Cause
different outlook.
oh my God,
I'd say a
the
bit.
woman has already spoken out on a stage about her feelings. She would not have our back as Jews that support Israel. We would definitely not be, we would not be like in any way prioritized. And that's where I drew the line in my thinking, because sometimes it's not about voting for someone. Sometimes it's voting opposite someone else,
Yeah, of course.
like, and with this case, it wasn't like we were left with amazing, amazing decisions, but it's like, but is that one going to have our back, or is this one? Then other people say, well, you can't only think about you. You vote for like the betterment of society. Sorry, no. I'm going to think about me, and I'm going to think about my family. And I think that most people do that when they vote. And if you say, like, I don't vote for me, I vote for all of the minorities in the world, or I vote for all the gay people okay, well, that can be your virtue signaling moment, but I voted, and I will continue to vote for the safety of my family.
Yeah.
That's the
And
most important thing.
I agree. And I talked to my therapist about this after the inauguration earlier last year. And I'm like, I just need to think about what's important for me and my family. Like, I get it. There is something it's very nice to have this feeling of supporting causes and supporting different things that are going to help other people within society. But with that being said, my family is who I'm with my entire rest of my life. And if that means that if I have to basically agree or vote for somebody who I don't think will do an amazing job for society, but will help me, I may pick that way of helping me. I mean, it's kind of just the way it is. And call me
It's
selfish.
no, but we're not selfish because we've never done
I'm
that before. That's the thing. We've never done that before. But
true.
October 7th woke us up to a reality of like, holy shit, we're in a crisis.
Yeah.
I have never in my life ever felt that my life as a white woman in America, in California, was ever in danger other than just like normal crime, you know? I never ever felt like being like I was a target for dangerous situations until October 7th.
Yeah.
And I know that that's pretty naive because, you know, every woman is in danger in some capacity. Every
Yeah.
person is in danger. But like as a Jewish, you know, white woman in a safe neighborhood, all of a sudden I saw a potential future where, oh my God, you know, we were a little bit spiraling there for a little bit.
Hmm.
I spiraled. I still sometimes do. But there were months there where I was spiraling right around the election where it was like, oh my God, where is this going?
Yep.
How bad is it going to get? Are we going to a Holocaust again? Is this the future for us? And like, I needed to put a full stop to that. Those campus encampments were so petrifying for me. Like, I just know that our kids are going to go to college one day and like, those images of the protests and the encampments and the yelling and the not letting the Jews in the library at UCLA, those are the
Hmm.
things that like triggered me so much that I said, we have to put ourselves first. No one else
Yeah.
is.
It's the way it is. I mean, we've been down this road before as Jews. You know, we had shit go down less than 100 years ago that our family were involved in.
And
I
luckily, we have so many more allies now.
Yeah.
And luckily, we have so much protection now. And we have a state, we have Israel, and so many Jews have guns, and so many people are fighting back now. You know,
Yes.
this is not oh shit, we have no idea, just get on the train moment anymore. So, but a huge part of that is that our current administration and the government also has our back. Like that to me is a very, very big sigh of relief, I think, in these times, in this time specifically. It may not be in 5 years, but right now, for where we are, I am grateful that our current government and administration is mostly very pro Israel and pro Jew.
Which is why I don't want to think about next presidential election and who options may be. For another episode at another time because that's a
Marco
entire.
Rubio or JD Vance. And then it's going to be,
Who would you choose
I would
if
choose
you go
Rubio.
to? Of course,
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was so obvious for you.
because JD Vance, I still feel he's still isn't he still like buddy with
Besties with Tucker Carlson.
yeah. So like, why would I even no?
I know it's kind of
No.
confusing. And
No.
then on the left, I mean, good luck. We've got Kamala and Gavin. We'll
Mm.
see. Okay, so anyway, that's
Happy
it.
New Year.
Happy New Year. It's a nice little roundup of all the things in the news.
Yes,
But luckily it's not terrifying in this moment right now to be a Jew. It doesn't feel as
it's less
terrifying
terrifying. It's less terrifying.
in this moment.
Yes. Who knows
Um,
what 2026 holds?
Hopefully just positive things.
Ah, please, just
I
pause.
know. Okay, adore you.
Adore
Talk to
you.
you next week. We're going to be in studio next week.
Yes, we are very excited for that one.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for supporting and liking the show and subscribing and following and leaving reviews and all of the things. Appreciate you. And even the haters, appreciate you for all the
Yes.
engagement.
Thanks, haters. Love the engagement on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good one, Adam.
Bye.
Bye.